Welcome to the Storypowers Podcast, the show about the power of stories, the people who tell them, and why you should be doing it too. I'm your host, Francisco Mahfuz. My guest today... Wait, there is no guest today. I think I've just gotten used to saying that. Well, normally this is a show where I interview storytellers, speakers, communication and marketing experts. But this is a show about stories. I can't have a show about stories and never tell a story, can I? Well, it's my show, so that's why today you're getting a story. This is a story about the things we love, the things we think we love, and egg boxing. You don't know what egg boxing is? Well, stick around, and you'll never look at eggs the same way again. Ladies and gentlemen, please enjoy the strange tale of Ramanujan the egg. Peter Attia is a doctor, a self-professed obsessive, and also one of the most dedicated students of human longevity. He's a big believer in fasting, and he was one of the major reasons I took up that practice, which I've kept now for almost a decade. But this is not a story about medicine, or weird experiments, or fasting. This is a story about the things we love, the things we think we love, and egg boxing. One of Peter's longest-running obsessions. The concept of egg boxing is simple. Let's say you're making a 4-egg omelette. You hold one egg in each hand and bang them against each other. Typically, one of those eggs will crack and the other one won't. And that last one is the winner. Now you get another egg and you do it again. If the same egg wins one more time, it now has 2 wins. If it then loses, you consider that it has retired with a 2-win record, and you keep going. The last egg standing is the winner for the day, and you write down how many wins it had. It's a silly game, just something to pass the time. And it was that way for Peter until he met the greatest egg boxer of all time. This egg went undefeated, not for a few days, but for months and months, and the egg kept winning and winning. More than a year went by, and it kept winning. Whereas only a few eggs ever survived more than 12 fights, this one was already in the thousands. After a while, Peter felt he knew this egg, that they were almost friends, and he named him Ramanujan, after the great Indian mathematician. Peter even made a heavyweight championship belt to wrap around Ramanujan, and the egg had its own special place in the fridge. And Peter wondered what could possibly explain that. Was it some kind of structural abnormality that made the egg more resistant? Some freak accumulation of calcium? Was it in fact a dinosaur egg? The mystery started bothering him so much that he considered hiding the egg in his pocket, going to the emergency room, and complaining of pelvic pain, in the hopes that the doctors would take a CT scan of his groin, and he would finally figure out what Ramanujan's secret was. But he never did. And when he moved across country, the stress was too much for that champion egg, and it suffered a tragic defeat not long after. Now let's just stop and take a moment here. We're talking about a busy doctor with a thriving medical practice and a young family. Why could he possibly be spending so much time and energy banging eggs against each other? The answer is surprisingly simple. Egg boxing made him happy. Peter took an activity that most of us do without any thought, and usually without any enjoyment, and he made it into one of the highlights of his day. Do you know who also does that? You, and me, and just about every human being who ever lived. Or perhaps I should say that we used to do that when we were children. Do you remember when everything could become a source of fun? When the carton box the toy came in was more fun than the toy itself? All we needed then was our love for playing and our imagination, and we were happy. But then we grew up and forgot that, and we started believing that happiness was in finding the right car, the right university, the right job, the right house, even the right partner. And we still convince ourselves that the smallest things are somehow essential, that if we don't have the right phone or the right outfit or the right watch, we just won't be happy. Maybe it's time we remembered that our happiness doesn't come from having things. It comes from the joy we find in the things and in the people around us. People say that you can't make an omelette without breaking some eggs. But if you take up egg boxing, who knows? Maybe one of those eggs will become your own Ramanujan. Or maybe not. But if something as silly as egg boxing can bring a little more joy to your day, then you are already a champion.